Hello everybody, this is our second slides I have prepared about the module PDY 607, that is for biology. So before we really try to get into the uh, ICT tools or the teaching learning using the technology, first we must understand what is teaching, learning and assessment. I would just like to share you a few points that will urge you to think about it, and this is how the future of teaching learning has to shape too. uh, Long time back it used to be very in a very formal setting where students listened to the teacher and reproduced what teacher says whatever said in the lecture, and finally write in the examinations and scored 100. That doesn't mean the life has become 100% all right. So here I like to show you some of the points that I understood from the well-known research papers, and also you these little eye-opening will help you to actually read through the articles, any latest books, journals related to teaching, learning and assessment. Of course this doesn't mean that I'm going towards one the other module, because I wanted to bring closer to the technology module. All right, please don't misunderstand with this teaching learning assessment as something like the teaching learning assessment module itself. All right, so uh, let's go for the uh, next slide. Now just look at this. Why do we teach is the first thing that comes to our mind. And as a teachers you had a quite long experiences of teaching, and if I ask you, you have a lot things to share. However, let me bring out some of the things that you may share if the same question is being asked to you. Number one, teaching is to facilitate the students to score high mark. Please understand this. We as a teachers are not there to make our students mug up and reproduce or regurgitate the information that you shared and reproduce in the exam and forget it. So is more important is how you facilitate students learning to score high mark in the exam. Two, motivate them to do well in anything in the life. The teacher's motive should not be to score 100% result and score and defeat all the schools in Bhutan. And that doesn't mean that your students are performing best of the best in the life, because many of the brightest students are on the street today, and many of the students, average students, are doing so good in the life. So that itself tells us that our style of teaching and motivations may be lacking in some of the areas. So motivation is very 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 important for the teachers, but motivation is to do well in the life. Number three, provide a better meaning to the life to our students, because anything that you do you must be satisfied. uh, you cannot achieve everything in the life, and you need to be satisfied with what you got it. So teachers is to make them realize that, not to teachers make them greed to find more and more and challenge and fight and kill others to acquire that. So it is always important for teachers to be better teachers, to provide meaning for the life to their students. Okay. Fourth one is we must encourage people to be an independent from the dependent. All our students are so dependent to the teachers for the examination. They expect everything to be told: when to write, how to write, where to write, when to write, how much to write. And they also ask you, how much will I score? So that part you need to ship them, that whatever they get isn't best of the best. So make them realize that they can do better if they are independent. It is very much evident from many of the research papers that if students are learning independently, they score better and also do well in the life. Okay, the first is uh, why do we teach? All right, we finished why do we teach, and now we are going to what to teach. In the life of a teacher, they always feel that what to teach is so important. What to teach is, maybe they think always, is an textbook. What to teach is all they have already there in the textbook. And teachers think that if they waste their time beyond the textbook is useless. They also feel that children would not score if they are taught beyond the textbook. So why what to teach? What to teach? Teach to build the life through the content. Teach the content to build the life. So our lessons should be built to suit the need of an children, not something we force them to learn. So is our textbook what we have today, is it capturing the need of our children? When I say need, is a community need, individual need, society need, and the country need. We often say that unemployment is because of the mismatch. Have you ever thought of any questions comes to your mind? What was wrong in our curriculum and syllabus? What do our children learn to become better and then suited to be, to get employed? So design, your thinking, little design would really shoot to help the children's. What is the expectations of the contents? Okay, what is the expectations of the contents? What is the expectations out of our the content taught is there already in the syllabus, is already mentioned on the education blueprint, Bhutan education blueprint. Please check that. Look at the syllabus, look at the science curriculum framework. There is a lot of expectation written, but do our textbook is in line with these expectations? If that is so, how much? What would be the outcome? The real outcome of the content is seen when the content is delivered, and when they have graduated, and then when they come out of the after exposure to the content, after getting an experience, they will graduate. And is that helping our children? Is that really matching the content expectation? Okay, so that is another thing that we have to think always. And then not only thinking, please read on to the books. Is the education blueprint is really in that line? And if that is the case, how have they written? You can bring out some of the statements put inside. All right. Now another thing is, any education is to make a human being, peaceful human being, adjustable human being with fully satisfied with what they have, and then where they live. So such human can be produced if we provide an experience. If we don't provide an experience, obviously the people would be from where they are emerged out. Why today many druggists? Because it's an exposed in the school. Why there are many people are drinking? Because it's an exposed in the community. Our community is providing such an experience. Therefore, as a teachers, we need to be very, very, very careful that we wanted to produce a human being. Everyone's expectation is this, but are we going with the expectation? And this is Are our content covers this. Content probably covers this, but the teacher's part, have they taken this care? Have they taken care? So this is very important to look at. Then provide a responsive and engaging activities for the children is another important thing. Any activities that you give, any experience that you provide must be challenging, thoughtful, analytical, and then that gives them to think about positively, and finally they're able to engage to the work, and ultimately they become independent thinker. All right, this is what to teach. Now let's go to, I said in teaching learning, first thing is what to teach, how the teacher teach. Now second is, here when I say what to teach, who does this is a teacher. Okay, therefore I talked about all about the teachers, how the teachers build the life of the students. Now coming to how to teach is, we always try to put in pedagogy to make it effective teaching. We always talk about pedagogy which will enhance the students' learning or helps the teachers to deliver the lesson much faster and more effectively. So how learner use relevant pedagogy to learn faster? Here you should not think about teaching learning assessment is a duty of a teachers. Learning is a students. Teaching is a teacher. How teacher teach? Then same thing how student learns other side. So how student learns? Student must learn through certain pedagogy. So whatever teachers prepares an activity must have a certain pedagogy that will really enhance them to do things faster, more effectively, more in an arranged manner. So what will help them to learn faster and perform better are the some of the pedagogy that we must think about. Today there are a lot of pedagogy, people think about it and then try it, research it, and then after certain evidences we use repeatedly. All right, because of the changing world, many things are changing, and then even same pedagogy that worked a long time back will not work today. This is why we need to change over a time. Provide opportunity for engaging and immersive activities. This is one thing that I personally feel very much needed, because if you don't provide in such a engaging immersive activities, children would not like to really learn on their own. These such emerging or engaging activities makes them dissolve into the uh, learning. For example, games, how children like that game because it's so engaging and immersive. Can we make our teaching learning in that line? When I say we can prepare an activity that can help them to that helps them to keep them engaged. Engaged does not mean it's a time bound and then keeping them all together. No, it should be engaging. You do one thing. Once you have started, you don't feel like leaving. Learn for lifelong is the output of engaging in immersive activities ultimately. So learn to live peacefully, harmoniously, the peacefully, in harmony and in a happy with their community, families and friends. So uh, if yourself is a student or yourself is right now a student, so what do you expect from me to teach? Just think it. How do you expect that I teach you? Do you like that I do a lecture daily basis so that you just hear and then reproduce for the exam or get through your MA program? If you are literally thinking about what you learn, how I'm learning, you don't like the lecture, but you like to engage some activities so that you gain a learning experience. Learning experience is more important than marking up the contents. All right, now the final, this is second final, the assessment. The In the assessment is all about the achievement of the students. We always try to evaluate the students' work. Uh, which means teachers try to evaluate the students' work. That was our ancient times thinking. Now students can evaluate their own work, you know, because teachers need to give activity that will really engage them to evaluate their own learning progress. If teachers cannot think any activity that will evaluate themselves, that is where lies the problem. Teachers can evaluate. Today, teachers always think about what is assessment. Assessment is simply a test. Administering exam or the test, unit test. That's how they think. And when we talk about formative evaluation, teachers think that whatever they have written on the notebook can be just looked at, and then if they have a bad language or the bad handwriting, give them just pass grade, or even make them fail. And this is what is our intent. This should not be. A student may be bad in handwriting, bad in language, but critical in thinking, very constructive in their way of approach. He is much better than anybody in any of the activities, however, not able to express. That is the place where you need to help the students. So what I'm saying here, you have to give an activity to the students where they can where they can assess themselves, their own learning. First thing, that is very important. Today it is, the assessment is shifting to that line. So another thing is, teachers can of course evaluate using formative assessment. Evaluate continuously, provide an activity, discuss, give the mark based on the discussion. And when I say the formative evaluation must have a rubric all the time. If you don't have a rubric, then you will be very much biased. You will judge wrong, because every activity must have a rubric, checklist, so that you are very fair in your judgment. So formative assessment is very, very, very important. Finally, of course, yes, teachers evaluate by summative evaluation, that is by test. Today many teachers feel they wanted to conduct a test in the beginning, middle of the test, towards the end test. This shows that teachers are limited in their assessment style. Teachers need to open up with a different style of assessment. So let me just ask you the question, how did you evaluate the subject you taught? Probably you'll think about, I gave an assignment, and then you just read the assignment, and then you just graded what you try to grade the students according to your understanding, not graded with then standard. So if it is a standard, then you need to have a certain rubrics that has to be placed for all the activities that you gave. All right, if it is a formative. If it is a summative, you must have evaluated at the end, just you gave a tick and then completed without any feedback. You just gave the mark, and that is where something we are going wrong. So I know you may not have been happy and satisfied when you have judged in that line, when you have you gave the marks or evaluated in that line. So this is a thinking point again for you. Now today in this 21st century, teachers need to switch to use of ICT tools in their teaching learning. There are a lot of evidence in the research papers that teachers use ICT tools for the effective delivery of the contents. And also there are many evidences that students learn better, faster, and for lifelong if we start using an ICT tools, because we have seen that students learn much easily when it's being taught via using certain ICT tools. Students becomes independent learner when they were provided with the right experience. So we have to be very careful from the beginning, provide them a right experience so that they become independent learner. We should not encourage them to go for mugging up. Tomorrow there is a test, you complete mock up from chapter 2 to chapter 3. Is our questions is our question itself is, and analytical, critical? This demands a higher order thinking? Is it thinking about applying the concept that we learned? So that's what is important. We always give a questions about the just finding out the facts, dates, times, name. These are the lowest level of the items that we always frame in the exam. That's why we may need to think about it and then change our style of teaching. And then this is why I brought it here. ICT tool is one of the tools that will help us to do things better. Okay, and then in our teaching here in the module, we are going to see lot of tools, but you must always think about how tools really helps in teaching or learning, or is it helping in the assessment. Please try to categorize your all the assessment tools, sorry, all the ICT tools into three categories. Okay, just I'm sharing today, so I may not ask you later on, but it is good as a teachers you have to categorize them. Is it for collaboration? Is it for the assessment, self-assessment, or is a formative assessment, or is it for planning, or is it for a summative assessment using a quizzes? All right, and then, or is it for the students? Is it an engaging activities where students are engaged for quite some time? So this thing you need to categorize all the ICT tools for various skills that we use in the teaching professions. So I with this I would like to say that there are lot benefits of ICT tools. I would we are going to discuss it in a detail later on. We are going to look at all the tools that are relevant for us to use day-to-day life. Therefore, I end here. Not end, but I have the last slides that I'm going to give you some clues. Never ending benefits are available, so never miss the opportunity of using ICT tools in your teaching, learning, assessment. Okay, when I say learning, careful learning is for a student. Now, challenges. Yes, when I say ICT tool, you must have thought that yes, telling is so easy, but where are those infrastructure? Where are those the hardwares, internets, expertise? We lack expertise, we lack internet, we lack hardware. But if you have wills and guts within us, the small thing that we have at home can be used well. For example, today every house has got the mobile. In the educated house, every house has got a laptop. Slowly it will become part and parcel of the each family to have a laptop, or each individual to own a laptop. So what I'm trying to tell you is, now I'm going to provide you a discussion forum after this slide presentation. In the discussion forum, you will bring out one very pertinent issue of using ICT tools in the classroom teaching, and your writing challenge. To write a challenge is always easier, but you have to also come up with a certain proposal to overcome that challenge. So you'll write a proposal and also suggest your proposal to overcome that challenge. Now, some of the things that you should not include is, please do not include hardwares as a challenge. Please do not include internet as a challenge. Please do not include expertise as a challenge, because otherwise we are talking about the same challenge which we have already. So we would like to see what is the challenge in the classroom. What challenges the teachers? Is it time? or is it students? Is it the number of students? So let's see how you write it, and then we will then finally once you have posed your challenge and the solution, we all of us will give at least a comment to that, not necessarily the negative comment, but if it is a good, we will always write very good, well done, and this is what we liked it the most, and that can be recorded as well. Right, La, thank you. I think that's all I have for today. So just I'm bringing, this is not about all teaching learning. Please understand. I hope whatever I share to you is all about changing our mind perception and then bringing to the 21st century ICT use of ICT tool. Coming to 21st century and thinking about changing our style of teaching our children, teaching to become better citizens of our country. Thank you.